The humid air enveloped Beirut like a thick blanket, the vibrant city pulsing with life. Amidst the bustling streets and cacophony of sounds, a young woman named Bella awoke in a narrow alleyway, her heart racing. Disorientation washed over her as she took in her surroundings. She had no recollection of how she got there or even who she was. The only thing she could feel was a deep instinct that told her she was in grave danger. Bella glanced around, the colorful buildings rising around her, their walls decorated with vibrant murals. A gentle breeze carried the scent of spices and grilled meats from a nearby market, but there was no time to enjoy the atmosphere. She pulled herself to her feet, brushing dirt off her jacket, feeling the weight of something hidden in its pocket. The haunting clang of a distant alarm echoed through the alley. Her instincts kicked in. With adrenaline fueling her, she darted toward the mouth of the alley. What awaited her beyond it made her pause. A busy street, full of people hurrying to their destinations, unaware of her turmoil. She felt a tug at her consciousness, drawing her toward the crowd. Perhaps among them, someone might have answers. But she couldn't shake the feeling that not everyone in the city was friendly. A man in dark sunglasses caught her eye, lingering too long in her direction. Bella's breath quickened. An instinct she couldn't explain told her to move. Just as she stepped into the throng, the thud of footsteps echoed behind her. Not just anyone, she could tell. Swift and purposeful. Bella's heart raced as she broke into a jog, weaving through pedestrians. There was no turning back now. Pausing to glance over her shoulder, she saw the man with dark sunglasses stride forward, his expression focused, his movements efficient. Panic surged through her. He was coming for her. Bella took a sharp left, away from the crowd, and into a narrow corridor that led to a series of crumbling buildings. She needed cover, a place to hide and gather her thoughts. Reaching an abandoned bookstore, she slipped inside. Dust motes danced in the sunlight, streaming through broken windows. Rows of forgotten books lined the shelves, their edges frayed and pages yellowed. It was quiet here, a brief respite from the chaos outside. Bella leaned against the shelf, heart pounding, trying to formulate a plan. Her hand pressed against her pocket, and she remembered the weight of what she felt earlier. She pulled out a small flash drive. A surge of hope tinged her anxiety. This might hold the key to her identity. But who was pursuing her, and why? Before she could dwell further, the heavy thud of footsteps echoed through the store. A loud crash followed her moment of contemplation, and she knew she had to move, and quickly. With the flash drive clutched tightly in her hand, Bella slipped out of the bookstore's side door, the chaos of the street familiar yet threatening. She weaved through the alleys, determined to uncover the truth that lay somewhere in the shadows of her mind, and perhaps discover who was hunting her. Bella sprinted through the winding alleys, her heart thumping like a drum in her chest. Every corner she turned felt like a step deeper into a labyrinth of danger. She spotted a commotion up ahead. People gathered around a vendor selling fresh pomegranates. Grabbing one as she passed, she took a moment to catch her breath. The juice dripped down her fingers, but the sweetness reminded her of the urgency of her situation. She couldn't afford to linger. In the distance, she spotted the man with dark sunglasses emerging from the throng. Panic surged again. He was closer than she thought. She ducked into an old cafe, its facade worn but still inviting. The scent of roasted coffee beans filled her nostrils. Without thinking, she slipped into the women's restroom, desperate for a moment to gather her thoughts. She leaned against the cool sink, eyes scanning the small space for anything useful. Underneath the mirror, she noticed a second, older, frail woman. Her hands were shaking as she applied lipstick. The woman's eyes darted towards Bella, widening slightly. "Are you okay?" the woman asked, concern etched on her face. I think I'm being followed," Bella managed to whisper, keeping her voice low to avoid drawing attention. "Don't cause a scene. Just calm down. You need to find somewhere safe," the woman urged, her voice steady. Bella felt a flicker of hope. "Do you know a place?" The old woman hesitated for the briefest moment, then gestured subtly with her head. "There's a cellar in the back of the cafe. It's not often used. Stay low and quiet until the coast is clear." Nodding gratefully, Bella slipped past the woman and made her way to the back. The cellar door creaked open, the darkness spilling out like an invitation to hide. She descended the stairs and pulled the door closed behind her, the faint sounds of the cafe muffled by the thick walls. In the dim light, she could see old crates and dust-covered bottles lining the walls. Crouching in the shadows, she opened her phone to decrypt the flash drive. The faint glow illuminated her face as she connected the device, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and anticipation. It took only moments to download the files, and as they appeared on the screen, her stomach turned. Documents labeled with blacked-out names, project details. She recognized terms related to high-stakes espionage and covert operations, many of which she had stumbled upon by accident. Her thoughts raced. This was not just her identity at stake. It was a conspiracy spanning across borders, a secret project that had put lives on the line. Bella's instincts screamed at her. She needed to protect this information. Suddenly, heavy footsteps thudded above her. The door creaked as it opened. A voice sliced through the air. She couldn't have gone far. Search the area. Panic surged through her veins. They were here. Bella quickly pocketed the flash drive, adrenaline surging through her as she scanned the cellar for another escape. A tiny window high on the wall caught her eye. It wouldn't be easy, but it was her only chance. She climbed up the stacked crates, grunting from the effort. The muffled sounds of their searching became more pronounced, the tension stifling. Summoning the last of her strength, Bella hoisted herself through the window and landed with a soft thud on a patch of grass outside. She could hear voices now, closer than before, and she sprinted towards the nearest street, keeping low and using the shadows as cover. Frantically, she navigated the streets until she reached the edge of the Mediterranean, the moonlight shimmering across the waves. There, she spotted a small, unassuming boat bobbing in the water. Its engine was running. This was her chance. Without hesitation, she plunged into the water, the coolness refreshing yet alarming. She swam harder than she ever had, reaching the boat and gripping the side, using all her strength to pull herself on board. Inside, an older man with weathered skin and piercing blue eyes looked at her with a mix of surprise and concern. "What happened?" he asked. "Take me away from here. I'm in danger," she gasped, breathless. Without a moment's hesitation, the man nodded, and within moments, they were speeding across the dark water. The lights of Beirut faded behind them, the distance growing larger. Or perhaps they were just fleeing from more than just physical danger. Bella was escaping from a life she no longer understood. As the boat sped toward the vast unknown, she glanced at the flash drive still secured in her pocket. And for the first time since waking in that alley, a sense of resolve settled in her heart. She was not just a lost girl anymore. She was ready to discover the truth about her past and unravel the secrets that had brought her to this moment, no matter what it took.